Hey everyone. So today we're going to get back into showing some items from my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection. I've gotten a bit away from it the last couple weeks. I've shown items from my music collection instead, but I thought I would sort of get back to what originated things, what started my channel and kind of grew my channel, and that's my Ninja Turtles stuff. So um, specifically today I'm going to be going through my comic book collection, which you can see in the background here on these racks. Now just to sort of note before we even start, I don't have a huge comic book collection, so I don't want anybody to think I have this enormous collection. I grew up on the 1987 cartoon, you know, the kids stuff, so I didn't realize that there was even a comic book. I didn't know that the Turtles started as a comic until I was older, so I didn't really get into collecting any comic type stuff until I was probably in my 20s. So just wanted to let you know that ahead of time, that it's not a huge collection, but I do have some pretty cool stuff, I think, and hopefully you'll enjoy seeing it. I thought it would be fun to share either way, so we'll get started on that. So we'll kind of go section by section here. I think that makes the most sense. So top section, we start with some IDW comics. So IDW are the most recent, it's the most recent comic book series through like Nickelodeon, and I think they've done a great job. I haven't read all of them. I've kind of read bits and pieces here and there. Some of the ones that I have, some stuff I've read online, and I think they do a great job of sort of molding together the pieces of the different Turtles universes. Like, they have a lot of stuff from the original cartoon. They expand on a lot of characters and just give them some different storylines. I thought they did a great job with it from what I've read. So anyway, so we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 1. This is a recover, it says, so I don't think this is the original. Oh, didn't realize I've got, let me see if I can take it out. I've got plastic on all these, so the glare might be kind of bad, but love the cover, love the artwork. So that's issue number 1. And then we have, looks like this is issue number 20. So I just would randomly, sorry, bad glare again. Let me see what the best way to do this is. Maybe like that. There we go. That's a little better. Because I have these, some of these I have actually sealed up, so I can't take each of them out. So this isn't bad, I guess, if I hold it like this. So of course, we've got Krang here. He was a big villain in this. So, like I said, I go from issue 1 to issue 20. I would just sort of collect these as I would find them. If I found one I thought was a cool cover, or one maybe I read online I thought was cool, I'd pick it up. So I don't have all of them, obviously. I do have this whole sort of micro series. This is the City Fall micro series. I think this is the issue number 1 of City Fall. It's issue number 22 in total. So another cool cover. And then we have, this is another part of that same micro series, issue number 23. I do love, regardless of whether I read them or not, I always love the artwork on these. And then we have that same part, same micro series, and issue number 24. I really enjoyed that City Falls story, mini series, story arc, whatever you want to call it. I thought it was really good. This is a great cover too. This is part of the City Fall again, issue, what is it, 25? Sorry. Doing my best to avoid the glare. I think if I hold it here, that's probably the best. So I like that. I believe that was the end of the City Fall. Yeah, that was the end of the City Fall story arc. So now I jump up to issue number 49. I like covers like this when there's just a lot going on. I think they look neat. And then I like this one, issue number 53, with all the different mutants. You've got Mondo Gecko here. You've got, I think, Pigeon Pete. Slash is in here. I think Mutagen Man is back there. So I thought that was a nice cover. And then we have cover A for issue 145. The road to 150 begins here. And the reason why I picked up this cover is because Donatello is my favorite. I've probably mentioned that in a previous video. Donatello has always been my favorite turtle, so if I'm going to get one cover, it's going to be Donatello, so I went with that one. I thought that was a nice looking cover. And then lastly from this section, we have from 2019, Free Comic Book Day. 35 years of TMNT. So that was cool. So we'll move on to the next section. Like I said, nothing huge, you know, nothing crazy. I know I don't have the biggest comic book collection in the world. I have just mixed issues here and there, but I thought it would be neat to show what I do have. So here's some more stuff from the IDW series. I think everything in here, or a lot of what's in here, are the ones that are like about a specific character. So here is Donatello micro series. Again, being that Donatello is my favorite turtle, I had to make sure I picked up his micro series. I could not get that. And then I've also got the April micro series. And then one of my favorite characters, villains, whatever you want to call her, this is from the Villains micro series, Karai. So I don't know if I've mentioned this in a previous video, but I think Karai is such a great character because she's always sort of conflicted. Like, she's a villain, but she has honor, so I feel like her character is very conflicted, and it makes her very interesting. And I always enjoy reading or seeing stuff about Karai. And then I've got, I think this is a book of, it has like multiple comics together. I think I got this for my birthday years ago. Story starts here. Volume 1, Change is Constant. Yeah, so it's one of those that has, it has sort of different comics mixed together. And then I've got another Karai one. This is the Best of Karai. Sorry. I keep getting my phone in there. I'm trying my best to avoid the glare. Do that. And then I picked up a couple, I thought these were cool. I found these at the store. I didn't even know they were doing these. IDW did these Saturday morning adventures. So it's the style like the original 87 cartoon. So you've got Chrome Dome here with the original Turtles. I thought that was cool. And then the other one from the Saturday morning adventures is this. You've got the Turtles surrounded by a bunch of Shredders. It's like Where's Waldo with Shredders. So those are the only two I have of those, and I haven't read any of them, but I just thought it was neat that they did the artwork to look that way. So that's it for that section, and we'll move on to I think this is the last part of my IDW collection. So we have another sort of micro series, story arc, whatever you want to call it, The Secret History of the Foot Clan. And this is actually the first IDW comic I ever bought. I went to one of the comic stores around here with one of my friends, and I saw this. They had it on display. It was new at the time. And I just thought it was such a cool looking cover with Shredder. You got the Turtles in the background. I was like, I have to pick this up and see what it's all about. So it's The Secret History of the Foot Clan. That's the first part of it. And then we've got second part of The Secret History of the Foot Clan, volume 2 of that. Sorry again. I got to remember to hold this down so we don't get the reflection. And then we have volume 3 of Secret History of the Foot Clan. And I believe this is the last one. Yeah, volume 4, which has got Krang on it, looking super intimidating. So I got that, and I believe just it was 4 volumes. I think that was all of Secret History of the Foot Clan. And then I got a couple mashup ones, which I thought were neat. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vs. Street Fighter. So you've got Raphael arm wrestling with Guile. I think these are cool. I don't know how people feel about mashups or combining different products or properties, if you will. I think it's cool. I like seeing like Turtles interacting with Street Fighter characters or Cobra Kai characters or whatever it might be, Ghostbusters. And then here's a couple more. We've got Turtles and Stranger Things mash up. And what's cool about this, so you can see the cover has Stranger Things, but if you go upside down, it's got the Turtles. So very cool, very well done. And then last one for that, we have another Turtles Stranger Things mashup. Makes sense. I feel like the Turtles would fit well with the Stranger Things characters. I think that makes sense. I would actually like to see an animated series of that. I think that would be neat. And then lastly, we've got another free comic book day one from 2013, the New Animated Adventures. So there's that. Yeah, and that will end the IDW portion. So we'll move down to the bottom part here. And these are Archie Comics. I don't have very many of those, but I've picked up a handful of over the years at some garage sales. So this one I think is cool. The Turtles Meet Archie. My sister was a huge fan, and my mom actually, when she was growing up, they were both big fans of Archie Comics. So I thought this was cool. You've got Turtles interacting with all the Archie characters, so that was neat. I had to get that one. And then we've got a couple more. This is issue number 24. We've got Raphael going head-on with Slash. And then we've got issue 32. And this is a cool cover. First edition collector's issue. It's got Shredder on the cover. It's a good one. And then lastly, what is this? Number 61. So that's all I've got. Like I said, I don't have a ton of the Archie comics, but I figured, if I see them, I'll pick them up. Okay, so we'll go into the next part here. And this is my collection of the original Mirage series. So I don't have a lot of those. Like I said, I didn't even know the Turtles were a comic until I was growing up, because I grew up on the kids' stuff. I grew up on the cartoon. The original comics, as I'm sure most people know, are a bit more violent, a bit more graphic, adult, all that kind of stuff. So, but I've managed to get some and add some to my collection over the years. So here, I start with issue number 7, so that's the earliest I have. Love this cover. Like I mentioned earlier, I like these kind of covers that are all over the place. This has, like, you got the Triceratons in here, you've got some of the different generals, you can see the Utroms in there, you got the Turtles, a little bit of everything going on, so I like that one. And I always they did this in the 2003 cartoon, and a little bit in the 2012 cartoon, sort of different, but I like when they do, like, the space arc with the Triceratons. I think that's cool. And then we've got issue number 8, guest starring Cerebrus, who was had some storylines in the 2012 cartoon. And then we have issue number 9, so I do have a couple of issues in a row. You can see it well. And then we skip up to issue number 12. Of course, got Donatello on it. As most people know, at least for a while, I don't know when they changed over, but for the longest time, all the Turtles just wore red. So really the only way to identify them was based on their weapons. And then we've got another cover with Donatello. Like I said, if I see Donatello covers, I'll generally pick them up just because it's Donatello. So that's the first part of my Mirage collection. And then in the second part, we have the Return to New York series. So here's Return to New York Book 1. So for anybody that's ever watched the original movie, that's where this was, that's where this was where that was based from, if I can get my words right. So that was the part where, the Turtles, Raphael gets thrown through the window, and they end up going to April's farmhouse. That's kind of based off this. It's not the same. The story's slightly different. They also do something similar in the 2003 cartoon, and actually in the 2012 cartoon. So the Return to New York is a big part of the Turtles series. Again, they're not all the same. They're slightly different, but this is where it originated from. So this is book 1 of that. And then we've got, I think it's book 2. Yep, book 2 of that with Triceraton on the cover. Sorry, some of these with the different type of plastic have even worse reflections. And then lastly, book 3 with all the different types of cloned Shredders, which they did in the 2003 cartoon as well. So that's that. I like the Return to New York series. It's one of my favorite parts when they do it in the cartoon or in the first movie. I love those scenes. And then we got some more Mirage stuff. So we have the micro series of Donatello and the Magic Crystal, which I do have a book of this too. So in a future video, I'll be showing some more of my books and magazines. For now, we'll stick with the comics, but I do have a book of this as well. So again, can't resist Donatello. And then we've got a Michelangelo Christmas special. That's pretty neat. And then lastly, I don't think this is actually a Mirage one. It's Donatello. It's like a martial arts authorized training manual, Art of the Bow. This was just kind of a random one I found, but again, it's Donatello, so I picked it up. So that's it for that. And then to finish it up, the last part of my comics, I have some Image comics, which were from the mid-90s. Now, as far as I know, the Image comics aren't part of like any Turtles continuity. They're kind of their own thing. I think like the Turtles. They've sort of been rejected almost. I want to say, if that's the right word. I know that from what I understand, I only have 4, so I haven't read a ton of them. From what I understand, they were a little over the top, a little like more violent, a little storylines were kind of weird. So you can see I start with issue 5 here, or I'm sorry, issue 4, and it's, I believe, if I remember the story correctly, bad glare, Donatello like gets killed and merges with a cyborg, so that's sort of what this is. So you can see the crazy story there. But I do love the artwork on it, though. And here's issue 5. And I think, if I remember, like, Raphael gets his face blown off or burned off or something, which is why you can see it's all bandaged. And I think this is Splinter. I think Splinter turns into this, if I remember. So, yeah, it was weird stuff. I know from what I've read, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm far from being an expert on this comic book series, but I know there was like a lot of controversy. Some people love it and think it's super cool that they went sort of outside the box, and some people hate it and think it's, doesn't need to be part of the Turtles universe. So here we've got issue 6 with Casey Jones. Always got to get Casey Jones involved. And I think I do remember this, since Raphael had his face burned or whatever it was. He's wearing an old Casey Jones mask. And then we've got issue 9, The Night Watchman Returns, which oddly looks like Batman. I'm sure that was done on purpose. There's bats all around him, and he literally looks just like Batman. So, anyway, with these back. Yeah, so that's it. That's it for the comic books I have. Like I said, it's not a huge collection. I'm sure there's people that have, the entire Mirage series or the entire IDW series or something like that, or walls and walls of comic books. So for as big of a Turtles collection I have, the comics are not a huge part of it. Sadly, I'd like to get more. Hopefully I'll continue to add more to my collection. But I think, like I mentioned earlier, the reason why I don't have more is because it wasn't, sort of the main thing when I was growing up. It was something I got into a bit later. So, but hopefully I'll add more. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed what I do have. And yeah, thanks for watching.